Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Light. I haven't done an English episode in quite a while, so I really hope that you enjoy this one. I'm in a season of minimalism, so I'm really trying to learn to live with less, to be content, and to fill my life with things that really add value to my life. So I really do hope that you enjoy today's episode. I would like to ask you, let's do a quick survey before we start. Do you have a drawer at home that is full of cables and chargers from 2010 and random keys that nobody knows what it unlocks? I'm sure you do. Do you perhaps have at least one drawer you are slightly afraid or even embarrassed to open? And how many of us have kept a cable for a device we no longer own? I know the feeling. We are so afraid to throw that key away because what if that key opens something important one day? I've also discovered that we don't only keep things, we keep possibilities. For example, this cable, it might still work, or I might just fix this one day. Maybe this will be useful someday. And maybe this, maybe that. It's a very powerful word. That mystery drawer that you are visualizing now is probably the least minimalist place in your entire house. Now let me take you to your closet, the closet test. I would like you to think about your closet for a moment. I'm sure there's no one listening today that has ever stood before a full closet of clothes and said, I have absolutely nothing to wear, right? How many of us have clothes that we wear regularly, our favorites, those that you pack when you're going away without thinking? You love those clothes. These are one of my favorite blouses. When I'm in a hurry and I don't know what to wear, I grab this blouse and I'm always ready, set to go. How many of us have clothes we haven't worn this year? Me. And how many of us have clothes that don't fit anymore, but we're keeping them for motivation? You keep telling yourself, like I tell myself, if I only lose 2 kilos, it will fit. I have hung my black skirt outside my cupboard for motivation. And it works really well until I walk into the kitchen. Then all motivation is gone out of the window. Minimalism has one powerful enemy, and it is the phrase, just in case. How many of us have kept something for years, just in case we might need it one day? And that one day still hasn't arrived. Sometimes that day does arrive, but then I'm sure that most of the time it is something that you can quickly replace. Sometimes you will regret giving or throwing something away, but rather regret something you threw away and can replace than having 99 things that you keep because you fear regret. Now you might think minimalism isn't really necessary until you have to move. Then you become a big fan and you realize how much unnecessary stuff you really do have. I've never come across anybody that had to move that didn't say, I can't believe I have so much junk. Imagine you only had 2 weeks to pack your life up. Suddenly, that collection of 47 mismatched coffee mugs doesn't look too essential, does it? Or that bread maker you bought and used only once in 2020 during COVID is looking like a very generous donation to someone else's kitchen. Now, a while back, I became really interested in minimalism and decluttering and living a simpler life. And the funny thing with algorithms these days is the more you read something, the more the algorithm throws at you. You found that? It's like a monster being fed more and more and more. And maybe you are wondering, okay, what is she talking about? What is minimalism exactly? Well, let's start by saying what minimalism is not. It is not throwing away everything. People often say, I'm decluttering my house, but what that usually means is they move their stuff from one room to another room, and suddenly it feels like progress. Or we buy storage boxes so we can organize the things we probably don't need in the first place, and suddenly we have maybe less clutter, but more boxes. Now, can you guess what is one of the biggest growing industries in South Africa? Storage units. In 2024, the estimated market value of storage units was 7.7 billion rand. The forecast for 2030 is 10.7 billion. It seems like a booming industry. And this is the fascinating paradox. While people want to live lighter, many still pay for extra space to keep what they can't let go. Minimalism says, throw it out. The storage unit says, no, pay us and we'll keep it for you forever. And South Africans are listening. Many people are paying a lot of money every month to store stuff they don't have room for and they don't even miss. So what is minimalism? Minimalism is deciding what I actually want to keep, what sparks joy in my life, and it is the idea that we can actually live with far less than we think. This actually brings about an interesting question. Why do we hold on to so many stuff? And why do some people find it easier to simplify their lives while others, they almost feel anxious about letting things go? Part of the answer lies in how our brain works. Our brains are wired to avoid loss. Psychologists call this loss aversion. In simple terms, losing something feels worse than gaining something feels good. And a simple example is when I say, I want to lose weight, your brain does not like the idea of losing something, even if it's weight. So your body clings to that weight. It doesn't want to lose something. Your brain resists the idea of losing weight. That is why you have to phrase it differently by saying, I want to get healthier, or I want to feel lighter, or I want to gain more energy. The trick is to shift the focus from losing to gaining. Your brain is much more motivated by the idea of reward than by the fear of loss. So when you look at an object, even something you never use, like an old teddy bear from my kids' childhood days, our brain doesn't just see the object, it sees the memories, that wonderful memories of how my little boy just loved this teddy bear. Or when I look at this teddy bear, I see possibilities for future uses for my grandkids. I will pass it on. And that's why we say things like, I might need this one day. And one day is a very powerful day, but it almost never arrives. There's a funny story that illustrates this. A woman decided she wants to become a minimalist. And she read books and she watched videos and she became very inspired. So she started going through her whole house and she put everything into 3 boxes. The first box was labeled keep. The second box, donate, and the third box is not sure yet. At the end of the day, she looked at the boxes and she saw that the keep box was small, the donate box was medium, and the not sure box was basically her entire house. Which just shows us something important. Letting go of things is really not always easy. But minimalism is actually not about owning almost nothing. It is about something much simpler than that. Minimalism means keeping the things that truly add value to your life and letting go of the things that only take up space. Because every object we own takes up a little space in our homes, but also in our attention and even our energy. Now, I do realize that minimalism does not appeal to everybody. Not everyone reacts to minimalism in the same way. We have different personalities, and that's why. So just for the fun of it, let's look at 4 classic personality types. And while I explain them, you might recognize yourself or the person you live with. First is the red personality, the choleric type. Reds are decisive and driven, and they like control. If you are married to a red, you already know. You don't argue. You just take notes. Reds don't just walk into a room, they command a room. Even the chairs line up straighter. For reds, minimalism makes perfect sense. It's if something wastes time or energy or space, they remove it immediately. A red person can walk into a messy room and say, we don't need this, we don't need that, and we definitely don't need that. 5 minutes later, the room is empty or very neat. Living with the red minimalist can be exciting because sometimes you come home and you discover that something you really liked has also been efficiently removed. Then we have the yellow personality, the sanguine type. The yellow personality is enthusiastic, they are spontaneous, and they are full of life. If you want energy at a party, invite a yellow. If you want stories, laughter, and probably a few dramatic hand gestures, definitely invite a yellow. If you're in a meeting with a yellow, the agenda is laugh first, plan later. Minimalism can be a bit of a challenge for them because they love fun things. They keep souvenirs and decorations and gifts and funny objects and things that might make someone laugh one day. If a yellow goes on holiday, they don't come back with one souvenir. No, they come back with magnets and postcards and a hat and a cup and a statue and something that nobody else understands, but it was funny at the time. For a yellow person, minimalism only works if they see it like this. I'm not removing fun from my life. I'm just making space for more experiences. Next is the blue personality, the melancholic type. Blues are thoughtful, they are structured, and they detail-orientated. Blues don't make lists, they make lists of their lists, and they color code them. Blues are so detail-orientated, they probably proofread the 10 Commandments. They actually love minimalism. A blue person looks at clutter and immediately feels stress. They like systems, labels, and things in the right places. If you open a blue person's cupboard, everything is arranged perfectly. Sometimes even the storage boxes have labels, and inside the boxes there are smaller boxes also with labels. For them, minimalism isn't just about having less. It's about having everything exactly where it belongs. And finally, we have the green personality, the phlegmatic type. Greens are calm and they are steady and they are peaceful. They don't argue. They just nod and say, that's fine, even when it's not. If you ask a green where they want to eat, they'll just say, wherever you want, and they mean it. Greens are so laid back, they make sloths look hyperactive. They are the nicest people, and they make the best of friends. They enjoy calm and simple spaces. So, minimalism does appeal to them. But there's one small challenge. Greens, they don't like conflict, even with their own stuff. So they might look at something and think, I probably don't need this anymore. But instead of throwing it away, they just gently move it to another shelf where it can live peacefully for a few more years. So their version of minimalism sometimes does take a bit longer. And that raises the interesting question for all of us. It has been fascinating me this last few weeks why we are all so different. And it's all got to do with personality. So which personality are you most like? Are you a red who throws things away immediately or much more easily than the others? The yellow type who collects fun memories? The blue who loves order and structure? Or the green who prefers peace, even with their own clutter? The truth is, most of us are probably a mixture of these. And that is why minimalism doesn't look the same for everyone. It's different, and that's okay. So let me quickly just share a few decluttering tips with you that you might consider trying. I have shared this on another short video, the hanger trick, and this works really well. The trick is that you take all your hangers, clothes with hangers in your cupboard, and you turn them all the wrong side. Normally, most of us like our hangers to look in the same direction, if I can put it like that. Now, the trick is now that you turn them all around so they are facing in the wrong direction. So when you wear something, you are allowed to turn the hanger around. Let's say then after a season, you look at all the clothes that the hangers are still facing the wrong direction, and then you decide, well, why didn't I wear this? Am I still going to wear this? Is this something I can donate? The next trick is the 2-minute rule. This works incredibly well. Some of my friends have said they're hearing me in their own heads because I'm always telling them 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule, if it's going to take you 2 minutes to do something, then do it. If you see a cup in the living room, if it's going to take me 2 minutes to quickly go and put it in the wash basin, then do it. If it's going to take me 2 minutes to hang up my trousers or my pants from last that I wore this today, then put it back in the cupboard. If it's going to take 2 minutes to fold up my pajamas, then do it. So anything that you think it's only going to take 2 minutes, do it, and then you have a nice clean home, and you're not embarrassed when somebody comes and visits you unannounced. Then there's also a wonderful minimalist idea that has helped many people simplify their lives, and it is really surprisingly simple. And that is when you pick up an object, then you ask the question, does this object really add value to my life? Does this bring joy to me? The idea is not that everything in life must make you happy all the time. That's not realistic, but it reminds us that the things we keep around us should still serve a purpose? And sometimes when we ask that question honestly, then we discover something interesting. We discover that that old t-shirt we kept just in case, it doesn't bring joy. That broken charger we kept for 10 years definitely is not bringing me any joy. And the pen with no ink in doesn't spark any joy either. But strangely enough, we still keep them, which shows us how easy it is for things to slowly fill our lives without us ever really choosing them. So make sure also that you have a place for everything in your home. Your stuff must have a home. That's a very good tip. Make sure where you hang your car keys. When you walk into your home, immediately, I know the temptation is there sometimes just to put our car keys down. But I'm promising you, you're going to look for it later on. But if you know, I hung it where all the other keys are, then you're not going to waste unnecessary energy by searching for your car keys. You know you hung it with the rest of the keys. The same with stuff like nail clippers. Just know where the nail clippers are in the same place, or scissors or sellotape. Then nobody in your house has to ask you where something is. They know where it is, and it saves a lot of unnecessary time to search for stuff. And then something quite different for you to declutter is your schedule. Our schedules are too busy. We are too busy. We feel embarrassed to say, well, I'm not going to do anything this afternoon. I'm going to rest. I'm going to read. I'm going to relax. I'm having my nails done. We always feel our schedules have to be jam-packed and full, and that gives us actually status about how busy we are. But to choose less is a choice. I'm choosing to do less, sometimes saying no for certain things so that I can say yes for more important things. So what has minimalism taught me in the last few weeks? It has taught me to appreciate what I have and to be thankful for what I have. It has also taught me that I can be more generous and giving and blessing other people with stuff that I don't need anymore. I can bless somebody else with that. It has also taught me that I really don't need so much stuff, really. And that is, I must say, has been so freeing for me. And I can really live lighter. I want to live even lighter, if that's a word. But I want to live lighter. And really, it also helps you to clean less. There's less stuff to clean and less stuff to organize. And it really has helped my budget because I'm not spending on unnecessary things. I'm thinking twice if I really need it before I spend the money. And I realize also there's no need for me to compare myself with others. We are all different. You like lots of stuff. I like less stuff. That's fine. So let's conclude. Maybe the goal of minimalism is not really to live with less. Maybe the goal is just to make room for more things that really matter, like people, our loved ones, time to relax for ourselves, and really peace of mind. So perhaps the real question is not how much do I own, but rather, does what I own help me live the life that I actually want to live? Because at the end of the day, a meaningful life is really about having more. It's about making space for what truly matters. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and that you would subscribe on YouTube if you like the content and don't want to miss anything in the future. And until next time, remember, live light.